Shalom, welcome to our daily class in Rabbi Nachman. We are holding in the fourth Torah at the end of the seventh section. And, we've been building the kingship here from different angles, from different specifics. But we see the main idea of the kingship is that it falls out with the wise men who have the ability to lift the sin off of a person and bring atonement on a person. And we learned yesterday the amazing idea that it's accomplished through humility, anava, the ability to lift up the other person's errors and mistakes. And that fixes the world. And when that happens, the whole kingship is lifted up because people see God as king. When a person goes to a rabbi and the rabbi gives him something that makes him renewed and removes the weight of our errors, then we automatically have been given a new lease on life. And that new lease, we see it in our renewed desire to pray, in our renewed desire to learn and do good deeds. So he says, this is the aspect, Vayihi v'Yeshurun melech. There will be a king in Yeshurun, which is another name for Am Yisrael. And he tells us, Hayidu sha'malchut ala l'shorasha. This is the raising, the elevation, the kingship to its source, its root in heaven. Which means basically making God king, which we do on every Rosh Hashanah. As it is written in Tehillim, Va'anavim Yirshu Aretz, the most famous verse that people love to quote, the humble will inherit the earth. What does it mean? The humble will inherit the earth. It means all the rich people are going to die, that there's not going to be any more money. What does it mean? Well, it doesn't say the poor people. It says the humble people. And poverty doesn't ensure a person of being humble at all. And certainly wealth doesn't ensure a person of being generous either. My apologies for the forward backflip of the phone. I think you got a 10 from the judges though. So this verse is very important. Va'anavim yirshu aretz, that the humble people will inherit the land. Va'eretz hi dina d'malchuta. And now the Rebbe jumps to another concept, that the eretz, the land, is the concept of the laws of kingship. Dina d'malchuta. The laws of kingship are the laws of the Torah when they're emplaced in human society. Or, for that matter, even if they're not Torah laws, if they're righteous laws, they guide the land. It's a very deep mystical thing we're talking about here. That the land itself emanates justice. Now, how is that? Let's look further. It is written, Ve'eretz mitkomema lo, that the land established itself for him. There is this idea of the land responding to your righteousness. That if you are a good farmer, spiritually, if you keep the laws of the Torah, if you give the poor the corners of the field and the leftovers and that which drops from the wagons, if you give the Kohen his 10% and the Levi his 2%, if all these things are in place, you're called a good farmer. And the land will reap rewards to you. So, when we say that Anavim will inherit the land, we're talking about the humble people who keep the proper laws of the land. They will inherit the land. Okay? And of course, land is where kingship is found. If you have no land, you can't be king. You have to have a place in this world. And this is what our sages taught. Mashal echad. There is a story about somebody. Sheha mahalech b'derech be'ishon laila v'afela. There was a man walking in the darkness and the shadows of the night. Umityareh min akotzim. And he was afraid of the thorns that could be on the way. I guess back in the day they didn't have paved roads, you know. Umin hapechatim. Umechayeh ra'ah. Mechayeh ra'ah ulistim. And he was afraid also of evil animals and thieves, etc. And he did not know which way to go. So what is that teaching us? That the land is either a blessing or a curse, a place of benefit and investment and wealth, or it's a place of danger and loss and suffering. Depends on your relationship to the land, and this, of course, depends on how you treat the land in light of the laws of the Torah. Now we go straight to natural medicine. It is a known thing that all the evil traits and their extensions, evil traits in a person, anger, laziness, sarcasm, these types of things, are all drawn from the four foundations: air, earth, water, and fire. And these four foundations also find expression in the body as the four bile systems: the white bile, the green bile, the red, and the black. And those correspond to four organs: the liver, the heart, the lungs, and the spleen. So you see, everything is happening in parallel in the world of Kabbalah. And it says over there in this ancient book of Kabbalah, sadness is drawn from the earth. And the evil desires and their extensions were drawn from the plant kingdom. And speaking foolishness and unnecessary words is drawn from the animal kingdom. They make a lot of noises but don't say very much. And of course, arrogance and all the things that come from that are applied or expressed by the human race, the midaber, the people that speak. And someone who wants to go in the holy path, he must break these four traits. And he needs to tell the Talmid Chacham about his problems. You see, Judaism had understood therapy a long time before Freud came along. And he needs to tell him according to... this Talmid Chacham needs to listen and explain to him and clarify for him according to the way of the root of the person's soul. It is not enough to visit a rabbi who gives you an advice. He needs to really know your soul, where you're coming from. To do that, he has to have tremendous sensitivity, spiritual sensitivity. And there are three aspects of getting close to tzaddikim. Through these three aspects, everything is fixed. And these are the three aspects. The first aspect is to see the righteous person. That your eyes should see your teacher. So by seeing your teacher, you cancel out the evil traits of the mineral and the plant kingdom, which is sadness and fallen or lowly desires, exaggerated desires. And he tells us, Atzvut, in Tavot Ra'ot. Ki Tzaddik Ador Nikra Em. Because the righteous leader of the generation, he's like a mother. Val Shem Shehu Minik L'Israel Be'or Torato. Because he gives light like a nursing mother to the people of the generation. V'atorah Nikrat Halav. And the Torah is called milk. That honey and milk were beneath her tongue. This we see with our senses. When the baby is sad and lazy, but when he sees his mother, immediately he gets excited to go see his mother, and he runs to her like most babies, and he's running back to his root, right? The Holy Mother above. So too we see. And when we see a baby doing silly things, even though he likes it, wants to do it very much, but when suddenly the baby sees his mother walk into a room, he throws away all his toys and his games, and he goes to his mother, and he draws himself to his mother. And therefore he cancels the two powers of the domain and someach. Again, the idea of sadness and evil desires. Just by seeing the face of the tzaddik. It's a pretty good deal, right? Halavai, we were as simple as children to be able to live this all the time. And this is to be fear of the thorns. What do you mean, fear of thorns? Well, this is the plant kingdom. And rocks and things like that, and holes in the ground where a person can injure himself. But when a person is given a torch of light, that's a metaphor for the Talmid Chacham. Because he throws out the light of the Torah. And from this he saves us from the evil traits of desire and sadness, of the wrong desires. And then he's saved from the plant kingdom and the mineral kingdom and all the things that are drawn from there. And it's an endless list. So this is big work. This is not easy stuff. Because we're partaking of these kingdoms all the time. The plant, the mineral, the animal, and the human kingdom. We're exposed to them all the time. And the work is to detach ourselves from their influence over us. To understand that we need these things. This is how we live. But I don't need to exaggerate them and make them the most important thing in my life. To turn my ta'avot, my desire for food and money and other things, to be the main focus of life. Nor to be sad because I'm depressed, because I didn't get what I wanted as a child. Okay, it's true. Most of us, who gets what they want at any age? Let's face it. But to be sad about it means I'm not accepting what He sends me. And then tomorrow night we're going to learn about the other two, which are arrogance and vain speech, which those two go together as well. And there's much to be said about them. And if we can just fix those, we're going to be on the right track. We're really going to get taken up by the holiness and drawn to the right things in life. And we'll have balance and proportion. So this is a goal that's worth working towards. And we're going to continue this tomorrow night. So all the best to all of you. And we look forward to continuing this Torah. It only goes on a few more pages, so there's a lot left. But Rebbe knows where he's taken us and how to get there. All the best. God bless.